of an injury. Maybe it's just been a super stressful season, or maybe 2 or 3 years for you. Maybe you just got so burnt out doing the diet life and the excessive cardio and workouts around the clock. And then you just kind of fell off of your nutrition habits, and maybe you just stopped going to the gym gradually. Whatever the reason, you stopped doing the things that got the weight off originally for you, the things that helped you feel healthier, more confident. And now, like many of us over the years, you've regained the weight, maybe lost some, or maybe even all of the tone that you worked so hard for. If so, I absolutely get it. And I've sure had my start over moments. And even after I'd been a personal trainer for over a year, I had mine. So I want to encourage you first and foremost. The key is that you've lost it before and you're going to lose it again. You're a hard worker, and when you commit to something, you're in it. You've proven that before. But if you're like most of the people that I've met over the years and that I've worked with over the years as a fitness coach, right now you're probably a little bit overwhelmed with where to begin, right? Do you start back over? Do you start running again and cutting carbs? Is there a meal plan that you need? Maybe one that you've done before? Should you do fasted cardio to speed things up, or maybe even a detox or some variation of a cleanse if you've been out of it for so long, right? Do you just dive into the gym like you've not missed a single day? Or do you build back up slowly? See, most people go right back to what they've always done, or they find something very, very close to it. Might be low calories, it's likely going to be restrictive, either no exercise or way too much exercise, without fully understanding what their bodies need to finally lose the extra fat and actually keep it off this time. So they repeat the cycle again and again and again. Does this sound familiar? I know for me, this is something that I went through and so many of my clients have gone through as well. If so, and if you are tired of losing weight only to regain it all again later, and you're also ready for a permanent transformation instead of yet another temporary makeover, I've got 6 steps here for you that I've used for years since 2005 as a fitness coach to help hundreds upon hundreds of yo-yo dieters stop the cycle for good. I know they'll help you too, especially if you apply them the way my clients did. So without further ado, let me go ahead and dive on into this. Really quick too, if you're new to the channel and you like the content that you're seeing, if you don't mind, hit that like and give me a subscribe too. It really helps the algorithm to show that more people just like you who are looking to lose weight and keep it off, they're going to be able to see that. So thanks, it helps out so much for the channel as well. So what are these 6 steps that are going to help you to lose weight again, but to do it in a way so that you don't regain it like you've done maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 times before? Well, we're going to do a few things that are going to be probably different than what you've done or been instructed to do. And none of these are going to have anything to do with a meal plan, with a specific type of workout, or any of those rigid rules that you might have participated in before. And what got you to where you are is likely not going to take you to where you want to go, okay? And that's something I've seen for years, where a lot of my clients will come to me before they've started working with me and they're going, I tried to go back running. I tried to do the cardio stuff. I tried to cut my calories. I tried to cut my carbs. I tried to do this. And Lance, I lost a little bit, but it was nothing like what it was before. What gives? And so this is what I want to go through and help you to actually get these 6 steps implemented the same way that I do with my Joyfully Fit 365 clients. So step 1, the very first thing before you do anything, you must assess the damage. What do I mean by that? You got to figure out how bad it's gotten since the last time that you were in shape or at the weight you wanted to be. It's not as simple as just going, well, I'm about 195 and I want to be 155. That's what most people do. I want you to do this differently. Pay attention to this. This is where things get different. Number 1, I know you're not going to want to hear this, but I promise you it's going to make a difference. Take your full measurements. Take your photos and weight and body fat if you're able to. Do not just do weight alone, or you'll be chasing the scale. And unfortunately, a lot of times people do things so rigidly that they're losing weight at the spite or in spite of their metabolism, in spite of lean body mass. I promise you, you don't want to lose muscle and lean body mass when you're trying to lose body fat. Most people say, I want to lose weight, but what they really mean is, I'm carrying too much extra fat, okay? So if that's you and you're going, yeah, it's not really the weight, I don't care about the scale per se, but I want my waist to be smaller, I want to feel healthier, and I want to look good and have confidence. Now you're in the right place. But we can't know that until you start with your measurements. So again, we want full measurements, photos, which are going to be front, side, and rear photos in good lighting before you have eaten and after you've gone to the bathroom. First thing in the morning, this is how you do this. Now, you don't want to get 5 weeks in and think you've not made results when really you're down an inch in your waist maybe, but you didn't measure or take photos, so you just can't tell. Because what happens is, guys, is that you need to know the first 30 to 45 days, especially if you've lost weight before, you're going to get body recomposition, which means that you might lose 4 or 5 pounds the first week and then it slows down. And then from there, if you're doing this the right way, which we'll go through, you're going to be building muscle to improve your metabolism. And that means that the scale may be up or down a pound or two back and forth because you're losing pounds of body fat, but gaining pounds of lean body mass. And that might show a net gain or loss of 0 pounds on the scale. If you don't do your photos, your measurements, and all of this stuff like what I'm instructing, you're going to think that you're not getting the results even though you are, and you're doing it well. So you only had weight if you're like most people, and that means that you're not going to be able to tell if you're actually losing body fat unless it shows up on the scale, and it doesn't always do that, okay? If you're doing this the right way, though, which is the permanent way, you're actually going to want to build muscle to help your metabolism, and that means that weight can fluctuate, but it doesn't mean that you're not losing body fat. It just means that you're not losing more body fat than what you're gaining in muscle. If you gain 3 pounds in muscle and lose 3 pounds of body fat, it's a 0 on the scale, even though you have gone 6 pounds in the right direction. 3 pounds positive, 3 pounds negative. This is a 6-pound gap of where you were, but it shows up as 0, okay? You've gained 3 pounds of muscle, you've lost 3 pounds of fat. That is a healthier metabolism. But if you're only checking weight, you will have no idea. Is this making sense? I hope so, guys. Again, the world's way of doing this is always going to be based on quick fixes and chasing vanity, where, again, the way that I want to teach you, doing the Joyfully Fit 365 method, is going to be aligned with the Bible, which means that we're going to build our health and fitness on rock instead of on sand, so that when life starts happening and gets busy and stressful, as it does, we're going to have all of these habits built up. And I'm going to go through those so that life doesn't cause those habits to just wash away with the sand along with your results, okay? So inches and photos can really be a beacon to show progress when the scale doesn't. So number one, we must assess the damage, and we've got to do it very, very completely, not just weight, okay? So step one, assess the damage. Step two, you got to start tracking your movement and your nutrition. Now, before you go, oh man, or oh, I've done that before, just trust me. If you do it in these steps, the way that I do it with my clients, not only will you get great results, but you are going to feel more at peace during the process, because you're not going to be hustling and grinding. You're not going to be forcing yourself to do something that doesn't fit in your life, okay? So we want to start tracking your movement and nutrition. Do not improve it yet. We're not doing that. Just track it and see if what you think you're doing is actually consistent, or if it's even happening at all. We want to do this for 7 days. What that means is that you are going to track your nutrition, whether you use MyFitnessPal or you use Macro Genius Pro, which is what we've built for Joyfully Fit 365, or use Lose It, or whatever app you want to use. You can even use the old method I used back in 2005 with my clients, which is you're just going to write it in a journal. It's a little bit more tedious, but be my guest. Do what makes the most sense for you. But you need to track your daily steps, and you need to track your nutrition intake. Those are the very first things that you do, okay? Now, step three, once we've done this for 7 days, is going to be to analyze the facts of what we saw after our tracking for 7 days, okay? So at the end of the 7 days, you're going to have an average calorie intake, an average macronutrient intake, and average daily steps. It's really simple. If you take your steps and you see 7 days, you add up all 7 days of your steps, and then you're going to divide it by 7, okay? When you divide it by 7, it gives you your average step into or step output each day. So let's say that you're averaging 4,300 steps. What I normally will tell people is if you're under 5,000 steps, you're already too sedentary. Now, my main goal for my clients is I help them to go from 2,000 steps up to 5, and then up to 7,500, and then up to 10,000, which is what we call our awesome goal. That's our top tier that we want to get everybody to. Why? Well, it means that you're not going to likely have to do much cardio. And it also means that 20% of your metabolism, which comes from what's known as non-exercise activity, things like fidgeting, walking, blinking, when you're walking enough, you're getting those steps, it means that we're going to maximize that 20% of your non-exercise activity part of your metabolism. What most people do is they work out and they eat well. Working out only takes up about 5% of your total metabolism, whereas non-exercise activity, walking, fidgeting, blinking, etc., takes up almost 20. So most people put all of their eggs in the basket of exercise, not realizing that it actually is about 15% less calorie burn than if they were to be walking and getting more steps. Now, I'm not telling you not to exercise. What I'm telling you is that your first 7 days before you worry about exercise, you want to take inventory here and analyze the facts. So at the end of the 7 days, you need to know that the numbers don't lie. This is going to tell you if you're as active as you think you are, and if you're really only eating the calories you think you're eating. For example, I've had a lot of people say, Lance, I eat like 1,200 calories a day. That's like the magic number everybody says they eat. And then when they actually track this, a lot of times we'll see that somebody's taking in 1,900 calories. And even more so, we'll see that they're barely getting like 30 to 45 grams of protein, and all of their macronutrients or all their calories are coming from carbohydrates and fats. So no wonder they're sluggish. No wonder the metabolism isn't working. No wonder they're not keeping the muscle on like they once were before, okay? So a lot of my clients found out that they were really over-consuming fats and carbs. You might be there as well. And as I mentioned, they're severely underdoing their proteins. They also thought that they were much more active and that they were getting way more steps than what they were. So most of the time, people are pretty surprised to see, wow, I'm only getting like 3,400 steps. No wonder I'm having to eat so low in calories in order to get the results I want. So at the end of the 7 days, what we're going to be able to tell is what we need to do. So step 1, again, just to repeat, we've got number 1, assess the damage, take your full measurements. Number 2, start tracking movement and nutrition. Number 3, analyze the facts at the end of the 7 days, okay? So what we're gonna see is, did you do less steps than what you thought? Did you do more? Were your macros way off like many of my clients when they first started tracking? Were your macros good, but you're under or overeating? Not sure. That's what you wanna check, okay? Now, step 4 is we've looked at the facts, but now we've got to make an adjustment if it's needed. What does that mean? Well, at the end of the 7 days, if you're at the same weight or you've gained weight, it's really simple. You're not in a calorie deficit. Simple as that. You need a calorie deficit in order to lose body fat, okay? So this means that you can do one of two things. You can reduce your daily calorie average, which means that maybe if you're taking in 1,800 calories, you reduce that, by anywhere from 5% or so, somewhere around there. So you could go as much as 10%. I wouldn't recommend that at the beginning, but, removing about 50 to 75 calories from what you're currently eating can be one measure to cause you to start seeing fat loss again. Well, the second one is, if we're not going to reduce calories, is we're going to increase your daily steps. So let's say that we're taking in 3,400, we're producing 3,400 steps. You know that eventually you need to be at 10,000. We don't want you to just go from 3,400 to 10,000. So what we teach is you're going to aim for about 500 steps that you're going to increase each day for about 2 weeks at a time. So if you're 3,400, let's put you at 3,900, keep you there for at least 2 weeks to prove that you have consistently done that before you worry about increasing those steps again, okay? Now, a lot of times, just by increasing these steps like this, it's going to put somebody back in fat loss again. It's enough for them to be in a calorie deficit. But you might go, well, can I do both? And the answer is yes. As long as you're not going super aggressive, you can reduce your calories by 100 if you wanted to, and then you can also increase your steps by 500. By doing both of them, you are going to notice a significant increase in calorie burn. And as long as you're doing this consistently, you're likely going to notice increased fat loss. Okay, so you can increase your steps, you can reduce your calories, or you can do both at the end of the 7 days. And you're going, again, how do I know this? Well, if at the end of the 7 days, you see that the calorie amount that you took in and the steps that you produced, you see that you gained weight or stayed the same, you already know you're not in a calorie deficit. So we reduce your calories or increase your steps, we're likely back in a calorie deficit. Now, if you do all this and then at the end of the week, you see that you're down a half pound or a pound, or you're down an inch or half an inch, whatever it might be, you are in a calorie deficit. You don't need to change until you start stagnating. Plateauing is what a lot of people call it. Plateaus aren't real though. I won't get into that. But this simply means that you need to adjust calories. That's all. Okay. So step 4 is we make the adjustment as needed. We either make the adjustments on steps or we make them on calories. Okay. Now, when we make adjustments on calories, you do want to make sure that your protein stays high enough and you're at least getting 25 to 35 grams of fiber per day. Okay. All right. That's number 4. We make an adjustment. Now, number 5 is now once we've got this, so we've got your calorie deficit, you're now moving more, things are balancing pretty well. The 5th part is we want to start building muscle for a faster metabolism and so you get more food, okay? More food for most people means that they are going to be able to adhere to the program longer and better, okay? For what I mean is that if I have a client who I have to put at like 1,850 calories, and then I have a client that we have to put down to like 1,350 calories because maybe their metabolism is slower or whatever reason, who do you think is going to be the more likely one to stick with that better? Well, the one with the higher calories. They get more food, more options, more freedom, and yet they're still losing weight. So what we want to do is we want to focus on giving you as many calories as possible, but the only way we can do that is justifying the calorie need. And we do that by activity. You've already increased your steps. And then we do that by putting on more muscle or lean body mass. And by doing this, it means that your body is now going to need more calories to maintain its weight or to maintain that muscle that's put on you. That simply means that you require more calories, so therefore you're likely going to burn more calories as well, okay? Now, when you're ready, what you want to do is you want to add in resistance training. This does not mean you need HIIT. This does not mean you need F45 or Orange Theory. Those are very, very inflammatory. Those are going to, I'm not saying they're bad, but what I'm saying is most of those, you're not going to get progressive overload to build muscle. You're going to use light enough weight that you could probably do 30 to 50 reps in that 60 to 90 seconds they're giving you. And so what you're doing is you are burning calories, but you are not building muscle. So Orange Theory, F45, even places like Body Pump, which we used to have at our old studio. Body Pump can be great, but if you are not going between 0 to 3 reps in reserve, meaning you're not getting close enough to failure on the weight that you're using, there is no adaptation for your body to need to build more muscle. Lifting weights where you're lightweight doing 30 to 50 reps in a group situation, group scenario, is not going to do what you think it's going to do. Yes, it burns calories, but that is not the secret to a fast metabolism and burning way more body fat over time. Building muscle is. That's why we push protein and resistance training with our clients. And I promise you, it makes such a big difference. So if you're going, oh, wait, I always do Orange Theory, F45, or one of these boot camp style workout programs, maybe consider switching over to something that is more strength training where you are going to be able to build more muscle, and that's going to speed up the metabolism, okay? You might need to increase calories a bit when you do this. This is only if you notice that the workouts are feeling a little bit sluggish or if you feel like you're just not getting the energy that you need, okay? All right, number 5 is build muscle for faster metabolism. Number 6, this is the one that most people don't even consider, and this is to change your focus and your mindset. Now, you might be thinking, oh man, mindset stuff, just give me what to do. Here's what to do. What you need to know is that I would say 80 to 90% of people who regain weight, it's not because of their poor nutrition or their workouts. It's because of what's between their ears. They end up self-sabotaging. They stop doing the things that work. Maybe they were doing it too rigidly. Maybe they didn't know what was working. Whatever the reason, it is the mindset and where their focus is that takes them off of the track to get the results that they want, guys. Is this making sense? So we change your focus in your mindset. How do we do that? Well, we change your focus from weight loss to getting healthy and having healthy body fat percentage. Okay? We change it from weight loss to healthy body fat. We don't chase a number on the scale anymore. We chase a collective, let's call it a mosaic, because we're going to see all the pieces coming together. If I have a healthy body fat, my stomach's flat. If I have a healthy body fat, not only is my stomach likely flat, I'm probably going to weigh more or more along the lines of what is healthy as well. A little side note, I'll say, if you're using BMI in order to figure out if you're too heavy or too light, too this, too that, don't. For example, I normally keep fairly lean based on what I do. And because of my weight and height, it says that I am obese according to the BMI, even though my body fat percentage is well within closer to the athlete range. BMI is outdated science. Sorry, it's not going to be effective for what you need, okay? I have worked with so many people that have had a healthy BMI, and yet their body fat was pushing 40%. Just going to say that. I'm going to zip my mouth so I don't start talking trash. I'll just say BMI if you're using that, and if you're somebody pushing BMI, just stop it. All right, now, change your focus from weight loss to getting healthy and actually having healthy body fat percentage. Change your mindset from I need quick results to I need permanent results. Guys, the quicker you get your results, the quicker they will go away from you. If you want permanent results, meaning, Lance, I don't want to lose weight only to regain it later, then don't do what you've done before. Don't do the world's way. Do the stewardship way, which is the Bible way, okay? So if you want strength too, or to look ripped, that's great. If it's sustainable, how you reach it. Everything, again, is based on how do we do it so we can keep it up. So we want to focus on fat loss and strength, which leads to body recomposition instead of weight loss metrics only, okay? Or what we call chasing a number on the scale. Because a lot of times you chase a number on the scale and you do unhealthy, bad stewarding things to get that number on the scale, which means I'm willing to be unhealthy to get a metric. That's not stewardship. That is a get fit quick scheme. If you don't like get rich quick schemes, you shouldn't like a get fit quick scheme either. It's the same thing. It's something that doesn't last and it's built on sand. That's the part I want to encourage you, or even better, I would say I would discourage you from chasing, okay? So weight loss does not mean fat loss and could even mean water loss and muscle loss instead. Water loss is okay. If we're too water retained, no problem. But a lot of times what I see people do is they're like, Lance, I just did this cleanse and I lost 13 pounds. If I were to check their body fat before and after, because I've done this before, there have been, I'll just go ahead and say, I'll pretend, I won't say the person's name. This would have been back in 2018 maybe. Somebody was like, I've done this, did this cleanse, lost all this. It was like 13 pounds. And fortunately, they did one of the in-body scans. And the in-body scans, which they did at the gym beforehand, showed them, and again, I don't want to make up whatever the number was, but let's say it was like 40 pounds of muscle, of lean body mass, and X amount of pounds of body fat. They actually, while they did that cleanse, they lost like 0.5 pounds of body fat, and they lost like 3.4 pounds of lean body mass. Guys, that's a problem. I'm not saying they lost 3 pounds of muscle, but like if you're losing weight and you don't know if you're losing body fat, water, or muscle, that is a problem. And a lot of times people do this because they're not taking other metrics outside of the weight. All right. So weight loss does not mean fat loss. Weight gain does not mean fat gain. Same situation. A little sidebar here is if you did not eat 3,500 calories over your maintenance calories, you didn't gain a pound of body fat. Okay. It takes 3,500 calories above your maintenance calories to gain 1 pound of body fat. So I don't know who needs to hear that, but I want you to know if you gained a pound or two from eating out or from doing this thing or that thing, unless you ate 3,500 calories above Your maintenance, which is how many calories you need to maintain your weight, you didn't gain a pound of body fat. So relax with the weight. Let's focus on body fat measurements, photos, how your clothes fit, your strength, etc. This is the real metric that we want to focus on, okay? When you track with photos, measurements, and weight and body fat, you know when you're losing weight and when you're gaining it, what's going on. You know, oh, I lost an inch on my waist, even though my weight only dropped 1.5 pounds. I'm clearly losing body fat. This is going well, okay? Whereas if your inches stay the same and you don't lose anything, you may not have lost any body fat, okay? It tells a more complete picture. Okay, so this is how you keep emotions out and keep yourself from altering a plan that's working without you even realizing it, which is why we want you to track all those metrics, okay? This is how you stay motivated. This is what keeps you from succumbing or giving in to the temptations of microwave results instead of permanent transformation results, okay? So those are the 6 steps. Let me say that again. Those are the 6 steps, little tongue twister, to get back into shape, to lose what you regained, but this time without regaining it all again, okay? These are action steps that put you firmly in control. Instead of stepping on the scale every day and wondering, why did I gain? I did everything right. It's really simple. You ate a little bit more carbs. You haven't gone to the bathroom. Your digestion isn't there. You were a little bit more stressed. You worked out a little harder, so you're retaining water. Nothing more. Okay? That's the beauty of this. Science and stewardship work so much better than guessing and gambling. And guys, when you do what a lot of people do, you are gambling. You're trying to throw stuff at the wall, and then you step on the scale like, okay, did it work? Am I good enough? Is it working? Stop doing that. If you stop doing that and put yourself back in the driver's seat of what matters, your emotions are no longer running rampant and you're seeing what works. You understand what needs to be changed when it's not working, and there's no guesswork, okay? So instead of stepping on the scale every day, hoping to see a lower number to feel better about yourself and your health, instead focus on these 6 steps, okay? I'm going to leave you with this. My clients transformed when they stopped pursuing only one metric, being weight, and they started pursuing healthy body fat, better sleep, more confidence, learning how to steward their bodies in a biblical way, okay? Instead of harming their bodies to look better and to weigh less. I'm going to say that again. Instead of harming their bodies to look better and to weigh less. When you do it the right way, you do look better, regardless of what the scale says, okay? All right, guys, thanks so much for watching this. By the way, if this resonated and you want to test drive our Joyfully Fit transformation system for 21 days for less than the cost of a dinner out, check out the link below where you can check out the 21-day fat loss kickstart. You'll absolutely love it, and it is going to be what we call the kickstart or the jumpstart to a permanent transformation. This is not a challenge. This is not lose as much as you can. This is the foundational steps of our Joyfully Fit 365 system. So thanks so much, guys. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. It really helps. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys all on the next one.